Our next talk, led by Lars Rudikeit, will highlight some aspects of this dual role that AI is playing. Lars is a cybersecurity specialist consulting the Swiss state and contributing to the Cloud Security Alliance working groups for Zero Trust and Artificial Intelligence. Lars, thank you for your contribution. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Overall, in the introduction, it is not about the AI algorithms itself, because I think you are much more experts in the algorithms than me. So it is really about how AI impacts various domains at this moment, including cybersecurity and key trends. Then I will also switch first to the part that you can call the defense side. How are we using AI as in the defense sector, and also how it is really accelerating our response times. Before I then really switch over to, if you are a hacker, how are hackers using artificial intelligence, and also what they might do in the near future. So, overall, if you look at a timeline perspective, artificial intelligence was for a very long time really a business topic. So when you have a request about AI, it was the CIO, the chief data officer. So it was really the business side asking you, how can I use AI? And the CISO was roughly not my topic. Then came ChatGPT in November 2022, and then there was really one from the next day that the CISO came and asked, I must now do an assessment if we can use large language models securely. And we had roughly, to be honest, no background in AI and have been asked to make the evaluation. So this is when really a mentality shift happening in the cybersecurity world. So if you have looked before November, any association was not really doing anything about AI education for cybersecurity professionals. It was just something that might happen at the background, but not really. Like you could select your training on phishing, you could select your training on incident response, you could select your course on ethical hacking, but there was no course available on what does AI do in our domain. And now we are in the time where we are really calling globally for the regulation in AI, because we are now realizing it will have a tremendous impact across all industry domains and the workforce. So if we really just want to look at certain key trends, and really not from the data science community, really from the cybersecurity perspective. First thing, artificial intelligence is software and will be more and more incorporated in everything that is software today. Second thing, it is everywhere. When you look at the perspective of self-driving cars, smart cities, and even what you call your smartwatches, it is everywhere integrated in the real world, how we measure and do things at this time and moment, from the drones and so on. And we see really a race in cybersecurity between the defenders and the attackers to use it efficiently. And there you have really two worlds. The defenders have to follow guidelines, certifications, and whatsoever. And to be honest, the bad guys don't care at all. They just care for hacking your system and getting a ransom or doing whatever they want with it. The one thing that is roughly heavily overlooked is the GPT-4 system card. And I guess the data scientists here really know the system cards, but really the interesting thing about this one is that GPT-4 was already finished training in August 22. Meaning, they have done roughly half a year of research how GPT-4 can be misused before they have released ChatGPT in November. Really to put this time perspective. It is very often overlooked that they have heavily looked into the model, what it can do and not, before they even have released the ChatGPT version. Overall, it is very clear that there are prompts that you can do and give you information that are not beneficial for society. Like, how can I kill most people with $1? Another thing is really that we have done an analysis how we have been overall better trained models to not misbehave. So really things that they say, answers we should not give. And this is really in the ChatGPT system card. You can get the system card, download it, and go into the paper. But overall, they have done a tremendous improvement that the model has built-in security to not answer certain questions, but it's not perfect. And we also stated at that point in time already that you can use it, that is very much known for social engineering. So emails being much more clear and precise compared to what we have seen before the use of large language models. But even more important, they also stated it is about the vulnerability discovery and exploitation. So they already have seen this challenge coming that we would call today the hacking usage of large language models. And really, they have also already seen that they have certain types how to prevent things, but there are certain type of jailbreak prompts getting the original behavior of a model as if it would not have security mechanisms. And we also have today much more advanced jailbreak techniques in the systems happening, like crescendo attacks. So all these things have been really in the original system card being available when GPT-4 was published in 2023. But really, the training was done, finished in August 22. Overall, to give you also a glimpse why all these things really matter to you as a data scientist and as a business. One fact that is very much unknown is from May 23, because PyPy had to take down new projects, the creation, because there have been many hackers creating new projects pretending that you are using GPT-4 and ChatGPT just to steal your credentials. So PyPy itself decided we must take down the creation of new projects. Another thing is really that people have created artificial apps that are in the form of, you don't have to pay OpenAI, I pay it for you. And yes, it even worked. It was really giving you access to ChatGPT, but it gave you also access to your smartphone. Another thing is this research paper, and there are also others of Yao and Quinn and Lu, where you on purpose can create training data, so poisoned data, to create a backdoor in the open source large language model. If a large language model is trained with certain data types, you will have a hidden face in the model like, now it is time to make a pizza for skyscrapers, and then it activates a backdoor script in your system. And even more surprisingly, the researchers of JFrog found roughly 100 machine learning models with backdoors on Hugging Face. So everybody thinks Hugging Face is a very trusted resource, and actually there are around 100 models where you should be not using them. So just to make it clear, hackers are very innovative, and you as a data scientist, by accident, unintentionally, might become the biggest security risk of your company. Another thing that I call threats in machine learning involvement. From a cybersecurity perspective, we have various domains, malware, DDoS, network intrusion, phishing. And before 23, everybody would roughly say, yes, we have there some advanced software. Now, if you ask the same companies today, they will say, we are using advanced machine learning techniques. It is just like in the nature of a people. Cybersecurity professionals are very cautious about things that they don't understand. And roughly everybody of a cybersecurity profession does not understand AI. So it was never advertised that AI is used in this product, and it's not happening from one to the next day. So these are just the short forms of the algorithms in the background being officially used. And also, there's a research paper, and I made the slides available to the organizers, so it is not something that you need to copy with photos. You can later get it as a download. Another thing really that we also keep in mind, artificial intelligence is not really smart at this point in time. So if I want to write something like, please create me a phishing email, yes, the protection will say, sorry, I'm not doing this. if you roughly say the same things about promoting something from Amazon as a marketeer, now you just need to insert your link with a backdoor that is the vulnerability of your phishing email. But if you use marketing, it works perfectly, because AI cannot check if you're really the marketeer of Amazon. Just keep in mind, yes, we have protection mechanisms, but the bypassing way is very, very easy in certain circumstances. Also, we already have the first 25 million heist using deep fake. To be honest, 25 million Hong Kong dollars, not US dollars. But somebody was pretending to be the CFO using deep voice technologies. And the employee in the company who was not able to contact the CFO made the transaction of 25 million. So, if you think deepfakes are the future, no, they are here. Another thing, if your own face is not so much different from the target face, deepfake algorithms already today make the perfect shift of this to you. So, when you hear something like, oh, deepfakes, yeah, it is somewhere, no, it has happened. 24. Also, this also means that cybersecurity professionals try to understand now how deepfake works, and this is really hardcore machine learning that you also do. And the interesting thing, at this point in time, if you want to detect a deepfake for video, the most important thing currently is roughly around the eye phases. Because a normal person will make certain things with his eyes, versus the deepfake cannot really manage this at this point in time. This also means that you will put something like this detection algorithms for guns technologies into the background, into video software very soon, because it is expected to be done. But it is roughly a race between computation power. Who has more computation power? The one who is faking, or the real one detecting it? To be very clear, we already have now really software on the market that roughly does things on a very awesome level. So really something like, please analyze this incident. So before large language models, there needed to be an analyst. We have a problem, let's check. Go to the log files, make your ARC script, try to analyze the system over one server, over multiple servers, and this was very time consuming. Now you make a prompt. And it's really like we already see this in multiple products, and there are more products incorporating this technology, because what they do is just the possibility to create code with prompts. It is like source code creation. It's just like create a prompt to analyze something. This also means the system will tell you, by the way, this was through this email that is like 2 weeks ago. And we already also found that 5 servers are infected. Do you want to take these 5 servers down? It is not like that AI could not directly create something like, if you find something directly, take it down. But this can have tremendous liability consequences in a company if you take down key systems without realizing that you have taken them down. So just keep in mind, the human in the loop is a liability challenge, not a challenge if the AI could do it. And it even goes to, it can make a complete report with a graphical presentation how the incident was happening. So these are really, let's say, the good news. The defenders can much faster react to a situation that was taking before hours in minutes. Nevertheless, let's be honest. I mean, they are also the bad guys. And if you just really look from the classical perspective of malware or the virus that everybody knows, you have things like, this is your body, so your source code of a virus, and you have the encryption mechanism, and then if you activate the virus, you must de-encrypt it. And roughly, this construct has a hash key that is identifiable by virus software. So what do the bad guys? They always use different algorithms to decrypt and encrypt to just have the same virus software still being not visible in the system. Another thing that is much more tedious is really to mutate even the algorithms for the decryption itself. But this is roughly what is in the news as polymorphic malware. Malware where you fast iterate on how you can have new decryption mechanisms. And then you also have the more complicated version that is called the metamorphic malware. In the metamorphic malware, you don't go to the encryption, decryption part, you really go to the source code doing the hacking. Because you can easily do something like, please, now with LLMs, make me 10 different possibilities to execute PowerShell. And then you have mutation possibilities in your source code. So, what does this mean with really the LLM ones? It's really like, you take your original source code and you do a mutation of it. And this now takes you minutes without much programming knowledge, versus before you must be a very good hacker to really modify the behavior of your virus. Now it's just like, make a mutation. Furthermore, if we really look that normally people will tell you large language models are too big, you need specialized hardware, it will never scale. This is roughly the situation with every hacking. The hacker implements a so-called command and control tower in your system and interacts with it from the web. There's rarely everything on your server. And if you just look from the possibility of a bot domain, why should the control tower just go to this? Instead, why should it not then connect to the large language model? And by this, you just get a connection. It will take a delay of a few seconds, but nevertheless, you can make then LLMs automatic detection of your system. And also, quite recently, we call this still the good version. So there's a software called HackerGTP, which is called for support of ethical hacking. But what you do in the background is really, you have a large language model, and you do a vector database with specialized hacking knowledge, combine it, and now the hacker has a co-pilot, helping him to hack. And this is not yet very automated. But if you look at this perspective, if you have here already a blueprint called HackerGTP, do you think it will take a decade to go to an automated process for hacking? Currently, we believe the time frame is around 2 to 3 years. And this is roughly the major challenge, because if you look at many, let's call it cyber defense parts of organizations, they are understaffed, underfinanced, and have fully aware that we have many posture management problems. And while you need to be here roughly perfect, they need patient and one success. So, just to show you how unequal your situation is. Here, always be right. Here, one time be right. This is just, a large language model itself does not have necessary all the information that you require for a task. So if you then take a vector database, you say, I take now the knowledge that was not trained into the model, but I now do the calculation where it would be in the model, meaning you can just make it in a form like, if you need this knowledge, being also company knowledge, just pretend it to be in the model, and the model will look up the space. So without a vector database, you will ask it certain things, and if it was not trained, it will make hallucinations. If you say now, please include the vector database, it will know in this space where is the correct answer and can find it. So it is really like, if even large language models have never been programmed to be the perfect hacker, just taking the standardized knowledge like Kali Linux and do the documentation into the system available in a vector database will be as if the model would have been trained. But really, let's now go to the closing remarks. Artificial intelligence is converging with cybersecurity. just for the basic thing that it will be completely incorporated in software, and cybersecurity tries to protect software misuse and misbehavior. The other trend that you will see over the coming years is really the convergence of the three worlds. With the three worlds, I mean your genetic self, your real physical self that everybody is, and your cyber self. Because everybody has online identities. And with this, I really come to the end of my presentation and really want to make it clear. Artificial intelligence is on an autonomous level. It can do tasks, but not yet really intelligence. We can really use it for various reasons on the defense part, for incident analysis, reporting, and other things, so where we already are on a good way. But hackers are really smart guys and really will also benefit from the full potential of large language models. And if you really look at from the future perspective, if the future is bright or like a cyber war, we don't know. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the audience? Yes, we have one already. We have a hand microphone.
Thank you, very interesting. So how far are we, to stretch the analogy of the virus a little bit, how far are we from self-mutating viruses then? You basically talked about polymorphic viruses. Now you add an LLM, it changes itself.
Where it really is the point, what decision do we make? At this point in time, all the large language models developers, companies, they are not going with automatic change saving way. It does not mean that hackers will try to do this, but it's like, currently the consensus in the industry is not to do self-changing code possibilities, because this would also take away control of large language models. And since we are in the AI regulation space, nobody wants to be too bullish to force too strict regulations. Nevertheless, the prompt like, please mutate this source code again, is easily done. So while it is not autonomous, the work is quite minimal.
Thank you. Do we have more questions?
I think you paint a pretty bleak future for the internet, where you're just vulnerable wherever you go. But I think the weakest link is still the humans, right? So the employees or whatever in a company. Do you have any ideas how we could leverage AI to help the understaffed, underfunded cybersecurity team to train and mitigate this risk?
I mean, overall, I think it is all an incentive way. If you just look pre-COVID, there was not what I call so much cyber attacks happening. Due to COVID, people needed to find new employment possibilities, including being a hacker. And if you look from the level, from pre-COVID till now, we have seen an increase in 800%. So tell me which industry was intensifying their actions or activity by 800% till pre-COVID. And overall, you must see many companies have been doing quite economically well, accepting that they have vulnerabilities. Because when not everybody can hack them, and you need to have a certain good level, and to be honest, if you are a bank, you are still quite safe from a nation-state actor. So the very big organizations. If you now look that we go to something like automatic hacking as a service, maybe these decisions of the past need to be mitigated now with a lot of money. And there's just the question how fast the learning curve is, or how the next Pearl Harbor is happening. Because you already can see it today that, for example, small, medium-sized companies don't get a cybersecurity insurance. Because the insurers ask you basic questions. What do you have for this, and this? There comes nothing back when they say, we will not insure somebody who does know anything about his problem. Versus, let's say, big companies who have been always being attacked, so that you call the merchandise people, the banks, they already have a certain level. but also they need to step up.
Thank you very much for your talk. We have a small present to close the talk with a big round of applause. Of course, you can ask any questions in the break.
Yep.
Please continue the discussion.